let's have this conversation while we're sitting here. Nico Iamaleava is a UCLA Bruin, right? And I think we even talked about it on the show. USC, UCLA, North Carolina, I think were the three main ones we talked about.
Yeah.
North Carolina, no. USC was never involved.
Tulane got ruled out early in the process.
Tulane got ruled out. Like a bunch, it just went sideways.
Yeah.
He's at UCLA. And it depends on who you believe, but let's say the number's 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Did he win or did he lose? I don't know. I tend to believe, and I guess the best way to say it, I think Nico Iamaleava lost because you don't go from Tennessee and Rocky Top to Pasadena and the UCLA Bruins, who are invisible in college football, even though they're in the Big Ten, and call that a win. Even if he had gotten a pay raise, I would be sitting here today telling you he broke even. Because it's more expensive to live in Los Angeles. He's got a home there, obviously. But when we're talking about, NIL money and salaries and paychecks, is that the same paycheck he was getting in Knoxville now that he's getting in Pasadena? I'm going to say it's not. You didn't break even. You're not making the same money, allegedly, because I've heard that argument on the old tweet machine all weekend. Do you know how much money he lost by paying taxes in Los Angeles, in California? Do you know how much money he lost to that? A lot. Do you know how much Q factor he lost without the checkerboard in the end zones? Not playing Rocky Top, not playing at Neyland, instead playing in a empty Rose Bowl with an apathetic UCLA football fan base. It's awfully difficult here to paint the picture that Nico Iamaleava won this battle with Tennessee over NIL contracts. It's awfully difficult to paint the picture that Nico Iamaleava's dad did not do massive damage, even more than Dion did to Shedeur. It's awfully hard to paint the picture that Nico Iamaleava's father did not make a massive overreach and a huge mistake. And listen, I give a lot of credit to Nico for saying, hey, I love my dad. I'm thrilled. He cares about me and he's going to be my guy and we're going through this together. Listen,
don't lie to me.
I totally get all that, right? As a father, I'm always going to defend my son. I'm going to totally get that. It's awfully difficult now that you're going to UCLA and you're paying California and Los Angeles taxes and you're going to try and tell me financially this is a win. Congratulations, you're living at home again. Is that a win? It's probably not. There's no way to spin this, Jake. I think this is a loss for Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, and I also think the repercussions for your future are potentially hefty. I think if you're an NFL executive watching this go down, and please don't tell me that NFL executives and NFL personnel are not paying attention to these type of situations. I think if you're watching this, you have questions. You're going to want the truth. You're going to want to know, was this daddy ball or was this Nico?
Absolutely.
Right? You're going to ask that question. And if it was Nico, now I got to start to ask you how you evaluate situations, because we all damn well know that the quarterback position in the NFL, by the time he gets to the NFL, is going to be hovering somewhere around 65. We know that. That's the projection moving forward, that we're in this place where we're talking about 50, 55, 60. By the time Nico gets into the league and gets through that rookie deal, for sure we're going to be in the 60s, and I think that, if you're looking at this kid, you have to be asking the question of, hey, what's your decision-making process like? What do you actually value? Because the problem here, and this is what you were referencing earlier, basically Nico and company are doing damage control now. You went from
100%.
Hey, bro, we want more money. We deserve more money. We should be getting $4 million, not $2 million. That's what his valuation was. We should get 4 instead of 2. And then you made a really bad decision, in my opinion, a really uninformed and short-sighted decision. And now you're here trying to tell me that you did this and everything's great and kosher, and you did this Instagram post talking about family and stuff to make all of us feel like that's what this was about? That's not what this was about. This was you hitting the, hey, here's the bird button to Tennessee and not showing up to practice and putting Josh Heupel up on the stand to say that that's when we knew you were out. only to say, yeah, I only did this because of family and money's not as big a deal, even though you just went from allegedly making 2.5 to probably 700,000 or 800,000.
Well, now we talk about
Be
this
better,
the rest
bro.
of the, we're going to talk about this the rest of your football career.
Yeah, because when you don't make the college football playoff, you're going to look silly. And
what happened what happened to your draft stock?
Yeah.
The moment that you bailed on Tennessee, what happened to your draft stock? It went down. And you're going to talk about this if he ever winds up at the combine. And I think that's a big if, because you go to Los Angeles to be a quarterback. Look how many of their guys hit the portal today. Because UCLA told their quarterback room, this is Nico's job.
Yeah.
They lost guys. The window's open. And I'm telling you now, this is what the narrative will be on him the rest of his football career. Not college, entirety of his football career.
Yeah.
You don't do what he did the way he did it. And if you get to the combine, not have the interview process be focused on your dad. Is he a pain in the ass? Is he a problem? Hey, is this a LeVar Ball situation?
Look what they asked Will Howard, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a joke? Do you think that they're not going to ask him about his dad after they're straight up out here asking guys like Will Howard and company, like, hey, why should we draft you, Will?
Why Will Howard?
I love you asked that, man. I feel like my whole career I've been overlooked. I didn't have an offer from Pitt. I didn't have an offer from Syracuse. I didn't have an offer from Boston College, Penn State, Duke, Carolina. None of those schools offered me. I was trying for years. And I went to Kansas State and I said, I want to prove those people wrong. I hope Penn State looks back and say, damn, we've missed out on Will Howard. You know, when I get to the NFL, I don't want you guys to miss out on me, because every single team that picks a quarterback in front of me, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure that they regret not picking me.
Love the passion, the enthusiasm. Good job.
Yep. Thank you,
Good
guys.
job.
Draft me.
Hey,
Dude.
Are we drafting Nico? Hey, Nico, are we drafting you or are we drafting your dad?
Dude.
Who are we drafting?
I think it is remarkable. I think that's a really interesting comparison. Nico Iamaleava to Will Howard. Because Will Howard left K-State. And
No. He got run out of K-State,
excuse
allegedly.
me, thank you. K-State left Will Howard, and he ended up at Ohio State. Does anybody remember how that ended up for him? How did
I'm trying to rack my brain. I can't remember. Was that the Will Howard that everyone said sucked? And then, you know, he went to Ohio State and, you know, it held onto the ball too long against Oregon, but then bounced back and had one of the greatest college football playoff runs we've ever seen, only to win the national championship in dominant fashion. Oh, you mean that Will Howard that created the opportunity for himself to go out and get to higher levels? So wait, is Nico going up right now? Oh, no, that's right. Quite literally, he left Rocky Top to go to the Big Ten into a program that is led by a guy who couldn't even give a proper speech his first opportunity.
He didn't,
dude.
leave Tennessee to go to Ohio State. He left Tennessee to go to UCLA.
Like, there are levels to this game, bro.
That is rough. Let's see. Johnny Gonzalez, Iamaleava is actually going to have to go out and get a full-time job while getting marketing NIL gigs, become a real estate agent, and become a lawyer to break even. Dude, taxes and yes, jam on my jelly roll. Taxes suck in California. Yeah. Stadium got James. It's a win for Nico because he's closer to family.
Keep telling yourself that, dude. I don't want to be too hard on you today, dude, but if you really believe that, you're not, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
You don't if you're making $2 million in Tennessee or Kentucky or you know, Iowa or wherever the hell you want to look, maybe not Illinois, they've got heavy taxes, probably wouldn't recommend that. But if you're in the Midwest and you're getting millions, dude, that millions goes way further.
Oh my God.
Than in California, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Like, and you're a Texas guy. You know about this.
Way further? I mean, way further.
Excuse me, if I'm not over the moon about Buddy cutting his pay by 50%
Buddy.
and then having 35% taken off the top when you could have been at 2 million, probably,
Buddy.
let's be honest, Buddy could have negotiated his salary to 2.3, 2.5. Allegedly, that's probably a conversation that could have been had. You could have had a private jet deal with NetJets like Jackson Dart and Arch Manning. You could have had these things, but no. Dad had to step in, and Dad had to ruin it for you.
Daddy
and now
ball.
you're doing damage control because last time I checked, Dad wasn't rolling out a big baller brand type Nike cleat deal for you. That's not what's going on.
Yeah, you're
here,
not going to
dude.
have massive knee
Like,
injuries
come
because your
on.
dad made shitty shoes. That's not who you are, Nico.
Yeah, right? That's not you.
Yeah, let's run through some of them. Seth Hatmaker, Oak State James is the best. We love you, buddy. Yeah, we love Oak State James.
It's not personal. I'm not going to sit here and I think again, your description of this is spot on. I'm not going to spit shine a turd.
No.
This is not
Can't
a
do
good
it.
decision for his career. This is not a good decision for his pocketbook. This is not a good thing for college
His
football.
image.
This is not a good look for UCLA as a football program. Because that's the other thing that I don't hear people talking
Program.
about, dude. Like, is UCLA like everyone's talking about Niko going to UCLA and how these quarterbacks and these guys got in the portal? Like, is the assumption on UCLA's part that this kid's going to come in here and just light the world on fire and they're somehow now going to take this huge leap forward in the Big Ten? Bro, you can't even beat Indiana. You can't beat a soft Big Ten team. Like,
And I think the other thing is he's got to be very good. You know,
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where, excuse me, like you look at Joey Aguiar, he's probably going to wind up at Tennessee, who still doesn't have a quarterback. How about that Avery Johnson transfer, boys? That never happened. I think Joey Aguiar is a very interesting one. But we'll see. I just think this is what's wrong with college football right now.
I would feel better if this was Lincoln and USC. At least
I
then
would.
I could say, okay, Lincoln, for you, dude, and where you're at with your program, I probably disagree with that and Niko, to be honest with you. But hey, the kid's talented. You're a quarterback guru. A plus B equals a lot of passing yards.
And he'll be on national TV regularly. He will play at a minimum. He will be playing Notre Dame every year. Like you,
we'll probably get to
they're
see
in the
him
Big
Las
Ten.
Vegas Bowls.
Yeah,
and,
like
you know,
you're on national TV.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a rat's ass about UCLA football.
Hey, who's the head coach at UCLA?
Your mom.
Oh, that's right. You don't know his name either.
Yeah, because he can't say his name at a press
My
conference because
God.
he's too nervous.
So that's why I don't feel good about it, dude. It's not that I think Niko's some bad kid. I think this is our first real world example of a kid getting wrapped up in the money and the kid's family leaning on him like there is no tomorrow. Not having that
Gravy
vision.
train.
Like, think about it. If this kid just did the bare minimum in college football to get drafted, you play your 3 seasons, let's call it $6 million you'd make an NIL over those 3 seasons, and then you go and you're Tim Tebow, you're drafted 25th overall. You're still a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, how do you mess this
What
up?
percentage do you put that he's a first round quarterback?
Much lower now. Much lower now. I think he'll be lucky to be 2nd or 3rd round quarterback.
I saw somebody put it at like 5% that he'll
Yeah.
be a first round quarterback.
Yeah, agreed.
I think he's remarkably talented. And again, of the way that we build conversations in this world, we forget this kid's really talented.
Yeah.
He's a really young, raw, but talented quarterback. He's not going to be Arch, but there's no reason that this kid can't be a top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten. Although I just don't know how he does that now, because the pressure will be insurmountable. It will be unbelievable. I think Niko wanted to reset the NIL floor and the market did not materialize. Will he sue for collusion? I've heard that word so often. I think it would be impossible to prove that.
You don't have the wherewithal for that, dude.
That would be impossible. And if you lose, you wasted your tons, the cash windfall you got from UCLA. Okay. TJ Beck. What's up, TJ? 0 upswing for Niko on the move. You went to a school that is in some financial trouble,
Yes.
and a lesser team overall. Kid is going to have an uphill climb to the NFL. He's going to have to be over the top amazing.
That's why I'm saying, like, what from a football sense, I agree. He didn't go to UCLA because it was some great choice or he wanted to be closer to
No,
family.
no chance.
He went there because that was all he had.
I
And-
agree
And
100%.
I think it might still be in there. The On3 tweet from last week about UCLA, quote unquote, standing firm on their $1.5 million offer. About how they weren't going to budge, and they had him right at the number that they wanted. Like I sit here and I say, dude, bro, you went from the SEC to the Big Ten, which on its own isn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
But when you talk about going from a Tennessee club under Josh Heupel that's really, really improved and has climbed and is a college football playoff contender year in and year out now, in my opinion, like I am still amazed if you take the money out of it for a moment and you just think about his dad evaluating the opportunity or the situation, if we want to call it that. What made you say, yeah, we should ask for more and that's going to work out for us?
I have no idea.
I don't understand the math that they did here. Legitimately, I'm not even being tongue in cheek. What math or what equations, this right here, what made you think saying this was a good idea?
Tulane and a lot of other schools, yes, y'all in the media need to understand this is business first, and we allowed to seek opportunities elsewhere. Niko has offers over $4 million. Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
Like,
And then here's the tweet you were talking about.
yeah.
Is that UCLA standing firm? They're standing on business.
And why would they move?
They wouldn't.
Because they know the truth.
They wouldn't. I think you're exactly right.
So did he win or lose? No, I think he unequivocally lost.
I think that's
And I think they made a bad decision.
1,500 a week. Florida goes even further too. Can you imagine how much money he lost? And Eric, you get this. You just moved to Florida. Do you know how much money this kid just gave away by having to file whatever it'll be, a 1099 or a W-2 in the state of California?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a 1099 because you're not an employee.
Lord. Well, but it depends. Do you have an agent that you're an employee of, or
Yeah.
who knows what his? Because
Yeah.
a lot of these guys set up LLCs, and if he was smart, he'd set up an LLC. But screw Dion and Shador, who I
Yeah.
think has an LLC. Like, come on, like this is brutal. Maybe he likes to travel. Hey, man,
Dude.
maybe he does. Maybe he does. Wasikowski, UCLA's 2025 schedule looks easy. It's funny. I was reading it last night, and one of the things I was thinking to myself is, does he have big platform games where he's going to be on the biggest network in a big game? And I think the answer is no. Because if we look at UCLA's schedule, and if you just start projecting forward,
Yeah.
Utah, is that going to be on national TV? Probably not. At UNLV, is that going to be on national TV?
I doubt it.
Probably not. New Mexico,
No,
at Northwestern. Penn State.
that'll be national TV.
Okay, there's one. At Michigan State. Maryland, at Indiana, Nebraska.
Indiana's probably a national game.
No.
Yeah.
UCLA at
Yeah.
Indiana?
Yeah, after what they did this year, I think that's got a shot. Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's got two so far. Nebraska, no. At Ohio State.
Gosh, you don't think UCLA Nebraska would be a national game for Fox?
I don't think
I mean, they
so.
had. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying think about it.
I mean, because
they had
is
Colorado and Nebraska had that national game. But that's Colorado, right?
week 9.
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Where's Nebraska in week 9? If we look at Nebraska in week 9, what's leading into that? USC at Nebraska. No, it's probably not gonna be. Although I think the chance is, because I would think we all would agree,
Yeah.
Nebraska is going to be better.
Yeah.
Because you have to think that I really wish my name was Patrick Mahomes is going to be a better quarterback this year, right? I
Nice
mean,
haircut, dude.
yeah. Hey, it's cool if you're sweet. Cincinnati, Akron. This is Nebraska's schedule. Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan State. Those are all at home. At Maryland, at Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, and then Nebraska goes to UCLA. So there's a chance, and
Maybe.
it depends on what time that game is and how
Well,
all
and
that
also,
plays
you and I
out.
both
And
know how also what's your record? I
And-
mean, if you're
and-
relevant,
and who else in the conference
Yeah.
is playing that day?
yeah.
You know, like where is Michigan? Where's Ohio State in week 9? Ohio State's schedule. Texas, Grambling, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State. They're at Purdue. So UCLA, you would think UCLA, Nebraska is a bigger game, right? Okay, well, let's look at cheat again. What? What? Cheeseburgers for kids.
Dude.
New Mexico, Oklahoma, Central Michigan.
That'd be America's team.
Nebraska, Wisconsin, USC, Washington, Michigan State, Purdue. Week 9. There's a chance that UCLA, Nebraska is one of the marquee games in the conference.
Yeah.
Where's Oregon week 9?
Great question.
Montana State, Okie Light, who James apparently is tweeting at us today. Jake says that Oklahoma State, greatest team anybody's ever seen. They've made so many changes, and they're all Louis.
And ESPN's writing about it.
I'm a man.
Montana State, Oak State, Northwestern, Oregon State, at Penn State, Indiana, at Rutgers, Wisconsin, at Iowa. I think let's give them 3. Because I have to think that Nebraska game is
okay. So 3 right now would be the most.
3 right now.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Then Washington and at USC.
What about the Ohio State? Isn't that Ohio?
Yeah,
State?
that's 3.
That's including Ohio.
That's
State.
including
Okay.
Ohio State.
Okay.
Penn State, Ohio State, and Nebraska.
Yeah.
He's got 3 chances.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are at home against Penn State and Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Okay.
not great. Okay. Go to Tennessee's schedule real quick.
The only 10 I see.
Yeah. Go to Rocky Top.
Okay.
What's Rocky Top cooking with? Because this is going to be a different story.
Do you really want to see?
Yeah, because I think this is a valid point. I mean, when you talk about draft stock and you talk about relevancy, tell me this schedule is not loaded.
Okay, Tennessee, who was second in the SEC and went to the college football playoff. Big difference.
Yeah.
Syracuse, East Tennessee, Georgia, national TV.
100%.
UAB at Mississippi State, Arkansas, at Alabama, Kentucky, at home for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
New Mexico State at Florida 4. That's a national TV game.
Depending on Vandy.
And Vanderbilt to end it. So there's 4 right there. And if Tennessee goes to the SEC championship game.
And I would also point out in that schedule this past year, I believe Kentucky had earned their way into 1 national TV game this past season by their play.
And I'm also curious, Mississippi State's going to be trash, dude.
Yeah.
That won't be a
But
national TV
again,
game.
if Tennessee, then this would be my point to Niko, right? If he was still here. My point to Niko would have been, hey, dude, if you're this guy and we're going to be this good, maybe it's not about Mississippi State at that point. Maybe it's about Tennessee and whoever they're playing because you're that damn good in the SEC.
Hundo.
So that's what I say, dude. Come on.
This is akin to, and Michigan's a good example of this because I think we all agree Michigan's going to have some more discipline coming this summer at some point, maybe ever. Because Matt Weiss, that wasn't on him,
Dude.
and we were just buying cheeseburgers for hungry kids.
Bro.
That's bullshit.
This would be akin to saying, well, you know what? I'm looking for a bigger payday. I want to be closer to home. I'm going to go to Maryland. I'm going to leave Michigan and I'm going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Twins fan. You would never do that.
No.
You would never do that. So, all right, let me run through your comments. Richie Dubs. Is this the first time you've ever been here, Richie Dubs? LOL, please. The NFL does not care about this. You're crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how you come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Dude.
And with the questions we've heard, Niko could go play in Mexico and he'll be drafted ahead of Will Howard from a Buckeye fan.
Okay, first of all, you've just lost all credibility.
That's
one of the
crazy.
That's one of the silliest takes I've ever heard.
Yeah. Maybe he likes to travel. Sergeant Green could have made $2 million a year anywhere I went. Decided on DeVry for $37.50 and 2 taquitos off the 7-Eleven rollers. And and here's the thing, they're the day-old donut price because nobody eats taquitos but
Yeah,
me.
I mean, why didn't he just go to Bishop Sycamore? I mean, that would
'Cause
have
I'm
been
broke.
worth it.
California taxes, I'm broke.
I mean, come on.
And I can't even do 7-Eleven. I got to do Circle K.
Yeah.
Nico has plenty of opportunity to prove he can be a good QB. They have to play it right. Okay.
Right.
Chewy Gonzalez. Good afternoon, fellows. Who's worse, Nico NAL or Manti Te'o's fake dead girlfriend?
Well, I mean, it's a great question, dude.
I'm gonna ask Alabama because I'm thinking they're taking. Did anybody see who got in the portal at Notre Dame this past weekend? Oh, Aunt Jelly!
my
Oh God! Did you do that? The Pope
Dude.
is dead. You can't leave us. The Pope is dead. You.
That's
prick.
right.
Shut up. Well, Steve Angeli is.
Angelini, whatever his name is, Steve,
For all of you buttholes who told me, oh, the quarterback room at Notre Dame. Bro, the quarterback room at Notre Dame.
Monty, come on.
Rick Meyer and Joe Theismann, they're combining, and it's Steve Angeli. He got in the portal. Oh, my God, the Pope is dead. Like, distract all you want. Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback. And Steve Angeli was never good enough to be the starting quarterback.
Butthole.
He sat behind a guy whose mom knows he sucked.
And texted him
About sucking.
every day. Okay, that may have come out wrong. That might have come out wrong.
Macaque.
He had mommy issues. Is that on me?
I mean, mommy ball.
Oh, God. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, who do you think the beloved Buffalo Bills will draft? And I have a safe coming on Friday. You have a... What's in the safe?
Dude, you don't want to know the answer to that.
Are you going to keep the red Buffalo Bills shirt I'm never going to buy you in that safe? Or...
What about a John Cena shirt? I know you're a big John Cena guy.
Yeah, like if somebody needs to... I understand John Cena they wrote the script.
Right.
And that means that John Cena's a bad guy now.
And his name is John Cena.
But are y'all telling me that, like, all of a sudden John Cena's not popular? Is that what you're saying? Buffalo Hunter, hi, Big Daddy Magic. To which Big Daddy Magic said, hi. Johnny Gonzalez, Nico needs to get UCLA in the same place where Tennessee was last year in the playoff ranking. Last team in needs to be the goal. I don't disagree with that. Jay Brannon, like button, y'all. Yeah, hit the like button.
Hey, y'all.
I'm terrible
Hey,
at
y'all.
this job. Over 1,500 views, and we only have 42 likes. Hello to everybody watching on X today. Good to see you guys. I really appreciate everybody who watches the show on Twitter. X, call it what you will. We have a lot of support on X, and I appreciate that. Comment on X. It shows up. We'll read your comments here on the show.
Yeah, social media.
Or if you're on Facebook, Insta, Snapface, Twitter, wherever, comment. We have a software that pulls all that in. We'll read your comment. Or let's get crazy. Get on Google, search The Monty Show. The first thing that'll come up will be our YouTube channel. Click on it, hit subscribe, give us a like. Watch the video live with everybody else.
Do it.
We appreciate that. TJ Beck, don't underestimate the sexiness of UCLA and the Pontiac Fiero they afforded Nico to buy. That's
come
right.
Come on, dude.
86 Pontiac Fiero. Danny Kiger. Hello, DK. Maybe Nico qualifies as a charity now. He could.
Well,
he could. Wasikowski, I'm a Michigan fan, and I'd take Will over Nico.
Yeah, come on, dude.
I think everybody's taking Will over Nico.
Yeah.
Stadium guy Jim. What if QB Mahaliuki Smith ends up at Tennessee? Let him. I mean, you guys have... No, I'm not playing your games today.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
James.
Monty.
Chewy Gonzalez. Went to Utah's spring game this past Saturday. Dampier's legit. Ficklin is Caleb Williams 2.0. Isaac Wilson still needs more time. I'm telling you that Dampier...
Yeah.
I was talking to some Utah football folks over the weekend. And these are usually tame, low-key people. Well, we'll be fine.
Well,
I get that answer from people at Utah all the time. We'll be fine. It's never, man, we haven't seen this on the Hill. It's never that was fun to watch. We haven't seen this on the Hill in years, and that was fun to watch. The offense is completely different, and there's a different dynamic at Utah offensively.
Yeah.
Now you got to go win conference games, and I don't want to hear about how great Utah is going to be in the defense. Totally get it. After what you did last year, you got to go win games before we crown your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Not making that mistake 7 times. Wasikowski, hopefully we get a real Pope. Peter Urdu. Okay. Dan Welsh, Cheatigan sucks.
Wow. Thanks for the contribution, Dan.
Yeah, am I not getting any love for mixing in a Cheatigan?
Yeah, dude. That was well done, bro. That was really well done.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Yeah. I mean, come on, dude. Flowers.
Come on. Stepanek. Steve Stepanek, you're not dead. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. A noted K-State fan. Avery Johnson still not in the portal. So you're living well. Johnny Gonzalez, why are we wanting to make broadcasters' life more difficult? Tennessee just got away from saying Iamaleava. You ain't kidding. But do you guys, before we move off that, do you guys understand? He was a really good story.
Yeah.
When his dad wasn't an NIL idiot and was wearing the jersey and jumping up and down in the stands, he was a really good story. Well, and then he was terrible against Ohio State in the cold weather. And all that came to an end. And then the $4 million offers just...
Yeah, it just came flowing in, dude.
Right? You know, I mean...
my God, bro.
Don't you know who I am?
I'm very curious did anybody in this room care about the Pope dying, or am I the only one?
Well, when you say you care about it, to what extent?
Well, I don't really care. I mean, I think the Catholic Church is a scam and I'm a recovering Catholic. I grew up hardcore Catholic.
Oh, dear.
You know, I think that largely, no. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, they know who the next Pope's going to be. Start burning the ash or whatever color comes out of the chimney. Just do it already. Right? No, I'm getting better. Let's go, Steve.
Nice, dude.
Steve's been battling some health issues. Steve's a long timer on the show. I don't really care, but I'm not Catholic. I used to be Catholic. And you know.
I feel like it used to be a bigger deal than it is now. It used to be a thing.
Purdue Pete and Peter Urdu. Are you talking about the Filipino church leader guy, Peter Urdu? I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Dan Welsh. I'm only Catholic for the beer festivals. There you go.
Okay, I mean, that works, dude.
Dude, real quick story before we get to the NFL draft. When I was a kid, me and my asshole brother used to go back to church just to get communion, and then we'd leave. My mom figured that out pretty quickly because they're like, oh, we want to. I'm not Deion Sanders. I pleasure myself often. I need to go to confession, Mom. And if you guys missed the Deion Sanders pleasuring himself thing, an hour from now, we're going to replay it.
Dude.
That's not one you want to miss. Anyway, the point is, me and my asshole brother used to sneak back to church and get more communion. My mother found out, and I will never forget the first time a belt buckle ever hit me in the face. That was it. I got such a
belt buckle.
My mom was absolutely a belt person. And I will never forget. And if you know, you know. I will never forget. She was so pissed. Because I was like.
So back then, was it still like a stale cracker and everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was like real wine, and the kids got grape juice, and they lied to you about, like that guy coming back to life, all that good stuff. But the point is,
Ain't no reset.
The point is, I just wanted the cracker, and she was not here for it. And I remember coming back home because I lived on a Lincoln Avenue in Chicago, right by the old Dyke Stadium, which is Ryan Field, the Northwestern Stadium. There is a massive Catholic church. Go look it up on Google Earth.
I need maps today.
I lived on Lincoln Avenue in Evanston, Illinois. Right across the street from my house, there was a massive Catholic church. We walked up there, got the communion, cleansed the soul, right? Strengthen the forearm, but cleanse the soul.
Dion, take it easy.
Went home and took a belt buckle to the face like you ain't never heard. And
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Dude. Yeah, she was not happy about that. Brandon Butler is a fellow lapsed Catholic. I like this Pope, but I'm not sad about it. You mean you're not sad? He's dead. Go ahead and say it. Some other older dude will wear the funny hat. There you go, man.
Yeah, see, I'm at a point with
there
it where
you go.
Not only do I not know their names 9 days out of 10, I don't even know why I would like them or not like them. It's not something that I'm invested in. It's not something that's on my radar. Like it pops up and I'll see it on X or, whatever. You'll see it around. Oh, dudes. Like I remember last week, dude was in critical care or whatever. And we all knew the end was coming.
Well, no, he was dead. Then he was alive. Then he gave a speech and now he's really dead. So yeah, good luck, dude. Like happy voyage. My point is that I think I did so many things because eventually I was an altar boy, like help, all that stuff. I did so many things that I'm like, dude, what made you think that saying that many Hail Marys for that long of a time was going to get you out of the trouble that you were never in for checking out her ass?
You fucking donkey.
Right? Like that, because that's what it was. That's what church was. Go to church because you store at your teacher's ass all day instead of focusing on the class.
Your arithmetic.
Right? Like, or when you were alone, not doing what Deion Sanders routinely does, that you're a bad person. Right? Like you're a bad person. Like all of the things.
Yeah.
When I used to steal wiffle balls, oh man, I almost bought a yellow wiffle ball bat. And I was at the store yesterday and they were selling those, the yellow wiffle ball bat with the white wiffle ball on top. Dude, I almost bought one. I was like, dude. But anyway, when I would go to the dime store in downtown Northbrook and steal a wiffle ball, or I would go to Keith Horowitz's house and duct tape pennies to a wiffle ball so I could strike people out with it. We did that.
Really?
We did. Oh yeah. Keith Horowitz and I were evil people because we lived right by a racket tennis club. Right. And then I had a park near my house that had a tennis court, but we used to play strikeout with a wiffle ball, fast pitch. Yeah. We called it strikeout, but fast pitch. And we always used to duct tape the wiffle ball so it would go further.
Yeah.
We used to tape pennies and dimes to those wiffle balls with duct tape. And we were really good at striking people out. It hurts your elbow a little more, but we were really good at striking people out. And then everybody got too brave and we started using tennis balls and golf balls. Dude, when you throw me, you miss your location with a golf ball and Monty's up at the plate, that golf ball ain't coming back. It ain't coming back. But anyway, the point is, that's the kind of stuff where I have vivid memories of lighting the Des Plaines River on fire. So I lived on the Des Plaines River, ran through my backyard, and we used to do cool things like pour gas into the river and light it on fire.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Go out in like 20 feet. But one time my mom you want to know who my mom was? My mom caught me and pushed me into the Des Plaines River.
No.
Yes, she did.
Dude.
And then it was, you're gonna go and you're gonna pray about that.
Hell.
You asked for forgiveness. And I always used to think to myself, nobody's giving me forgiveness, lady. And sure enough, I'd be on bent knee and my mom, God, she was such a sadist too. She would take my allowance. I had a little jar on my dresser that my mom would put my allowance in, and I would save up for things. I will never forget. Oh, this is a story I shouldn't tell. Me and my friend Cliff had a crush on this girl. And we were sitting in my backyard in Evanston. We had a garage at the back of my backyard, and we used to bounce a rubber ball off of it. And this kid, Cliff, who lived in our neighborhood, him and I used to play like catch off this wall. I will never forget talking about how hot this girl was. And I had no idea my mom was listening or close or whatever. Dude, for the next, it must have been 10 years, but it was probably like 15 minutes. Oh, yeah. How hot is she now? While I was doing the dishes. How hot is she now?
I started having second thoughts.
How hot is she now? When I'm taking out the garbage and mowing the lawn and
Man,
changing.
she really had that much of a problem with it.
Oh, dude,
Bro.
You look at girls, you're going to hell. I'm gay, you're going to hell.
Shame.
I don't have thoughts of sex. You're going to hell.
Should have named you Dion.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter in the Catholic Church. You're going to hell. Hey, I farted. You're going to hell. Like it doesn't matter, right? That's what growing up Catholic was like. So the Pope dying today, is what it is.
You know.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
No, okay, probably too much. Probably too much. I agree.
It is what it is.
Dude.
But that's what growing up Catholic will do to you.
I guess.
Man.
Damn.
Yes, there were nuns I thought were hot. What Catholic kid hasn't thought that thought?
I'm so bricked up right now.
Dude, you have no idea what goes on in the rectory.
Stay hard.
You have no idea. You don't even know what that word means. Fat Jesus. Please forgive me, Fat Jesus. That was good parenting. Now you're too friendly with your kid and they grow up to break up via text. There you go. There you go. Jake breaks up with women via text. Stepanik, that's badass, Monty. Gas in the river. Dude, the Des Plaines River represented a lot of things.
That's not even the worst thing, dude.
No, there were many things.
That's not even close to the worst thing, in my opinion.
Bullets in the barbecue.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm thinking of.
Dude, so again, I lived next to a park. And I lived in a pretty nice neighborhood. My young adolescence, I lived in a really nice neighborhood. There's this park that has this gravel trail that goes to a lake. Well, you could, of course, you remember when they used to have barbecues in the park on a post, a metal thing, put some, dude, we used to put bullets in there. We would start a little fire in there, put some bullets in there and hide behind trees. And I will never forget. Multiple things come to my mind. I will never forget a bullet hitting a tree where Keith was standing. Like I'd hide behind this tree. He'd hide behind this tree. I have vivid memories of the bullet hitting the tree he was hiding behind. Like, it's just crazy stuff like that. Right?
Okay, first question. Whose garage did the bullets come from?
Oh, his dad. Keith's dad had a gun collection like your mom would never have allowed me. The things I did at Keith's house, I won't say his name out loud, but at Keith's house, the ding-dong ditching incident alone, but the absolute depravery that happened in his side house. Oh my God. Lopes fan gave it doesn't sound like the Catholic Church was the problem. The fact that Morty was an absolute degenerate hyena as a child was a problem. Tell me I'm wrong. You're not wrong at all. It is what it is. Had Methodist, Calvinist household. That was fun growing up in. Oh, the Methodists. Oh, the Methodists. Steve Stepanik. I grew up Lutheran. I was an altar boy. I was an altar boy who was not an altar boy, dude. I admit I had fun. I made out. I absolutely played grab ass, like all the stuff. I had a really good, until high school. My parents got divorced my sophomore year of high school. Until that happened, I had a really great upbringing. There were some incidents here and there and stuff.
But overall, well within the boundaries.
I was out past dark. I trick-or-treated without thinking about stranger danger. I had a really good upbringing until my parents got divorced, right? So we used to, I lived in an area where we all rode bikes until, during the summer, dude, we used to ride bikes until like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then everybody had come to my house and my mom had something. My mom used to make those, you remember bunt cake forms, like the metal bunt, you make a bunt. My mom used to make that, but it was Jell-O. Everybody used to come to my house. I've, again, vivid memories of this. She would have Kool-Aid and Jell-O ready at all hours, like it was the guards at the gate.
Yeah.
Right. When the kids came over, we had Kool-Aid. We had Fig Newtons. I vividly remember we always had Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
We always had Nilla wafers. Like my mom always used to go to the Jewel food store in Chicago where we lived. And the generic Oreo cookies, we had a cookie jar. That thing was never empty. We'd ride bikes all night. When I lived in Evanston by the church, we would play. There was a guy who probably was a pedo. I don't know. There was an adult dude. And if he hung the American flag out front of his house, there was a tennis ball, baseball game in the park until dark. Eat your dinner, get to the park, bring a tennis racket to hit with, bring a baseball bat. And we must have had a dozen kids there playing. And then my mom would ring a bell when the sun went down and we went home. I had it that way, right?
Yeah.
So I had the luxury of doing things. I fell off my bike without dying. I lit rivers on fire without burning the town down, right? But we also had a really good upbringing.
Yeah.
And I will tell you though, dude, she did not hesitate. When she put liver on the table that one time and I was like, what? The backhand that I got with her wedding ring on, good Christ, that was uncomfortable. But that's how it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not dead.
Probably better times.
And I'm not complaining.
Honestly, probably better times.
And I'm not complaining.
Yeah, simpler times for sure.
For certain. Lopes fan Gabe, yes, you're exactly right about that. Steve Stepanek, our pastor was drunk at most of our catechism classes. That's not surprising.
I don't even want to know what a cataclysm class is.
You don't know. It's like Sunday school, but every day.
Oh, I legit don't know what that is.
Like you learn to be in the church. Your mom's cookie brought all the boys to the house. And how?
Yeah.
Because we had a good house. We had a porch on the back of our house. It was like a screened in porch with windows. We used to sleep out there. Like it was amazing. It was amazing. And then I'd go to Keith's house and get in all kinds of trouble. God damn, did I get in trouble. Never got caught, but that's kind of the point. All right. Enough reliving the greatness.
Yes.
Whew, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's get into the NFL draft because speaking of Shedeur Sanders, in just 50 minutes from right now, Deion Sanders said something today. If you haven't heard it, dude, or we're playing the bike today.
Yes.
He said something on his Tubi show that will absolutely light you on fire. The Monty Show, hour number 2, presented by our good friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. What would you do if you were the New York Giants? Would you draft a quarterback? We'll tell you next.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
Boy, you tripping.
Did you see his mom made a post about going to the game?
What? Hold up. His mama gonna be there?
He's been averaging like 34 points a game when she's there.
At least 40 when she be on that Jumbotron.
He don't like to let his mama down.
Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.